all I cared about in that moment was getting stoned. That's all I cared about. It was like my existence depended on it. I remember having that typical, sorry about that. I remember having that typical self motivating speech where it's like, you know what? It's time. It's time to change my life. It's time to stop smoking and just be productive, and it's just time to stop, right? And I remember, you know, throwing the last little bit of weed I had left. Couldn't be any more than a tenth of a gram, maybe half a gram at most. And I threw it in a my trash can and put that trash in the bigger, garbage bag, and then I threw that garbage bag out into the dumpster just outside my house. One of those big those big block ones, not the ones you roll to your driveway, but those big ones that like restaurants have at the back. One of those, right? And at the time, it should have been right on top of the trash. Anyways, later that day, um, I just couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with the cravings. They're just too strong. They were just way too strong. Like I had no sense of control. I just couldn't do it. Like the thoughts were too loud. The feelings were too strong. And I knew in my brain that like I shouldn't do this, but just with the feelings, I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no. And I like to think of myself as a smart, responsible person. Yet there I was considering going back to the dumpster and picking it out. And I did. I went back at like 9 p.m. Felt like I can't even describe how I felt. It was like I felt so gross. I felt ashamed of myself. It wasn't like it wasn't a simple, oh, go and reach over into the dumpster and get the bag. No, it was like it was dark. I needed a fucking flashlight. I had to go in the dumpster in order to get it. And I had to dig through trash bags in order to get it. To get this much weed. And I couldn't understand it. Like, how could some people smoke weed and not have an issue with it? And here I am in a dumpster trying to find weed that I threw out 6 hours ago. That happened 2012. Wow, that was only 6 years ago. That feels way longer than that. But yeah, I was a sophomore in college. Um, wow. I went from never smoking weed before in my life to being in a dumpster looking for weed that I threw away in 2 years, in 2 years' time. And guess what? It's not like I had an epiphany that moment either. I continued to smoke weed. I continued to smoke weed, and this is really not about smoking weed, really. This is more about like I had like no control over myself. I had this battle with cravings and an inability to smoke responsibly for 6 more years. But eventually I fucking found my way out. It wasn't easy, I'll tell you that. It wasn't easy. Um, I had to learn so much shit about myself and about the brain and about emotions and about so much shit before I finally saw it. But once I did finally see it, the answer for myself, it was that's when my life changed. That's when my life changed. Um, it's one of those things where, you know, no one could have told me that that's what the answer was for me, you know? Um, in a similar way that I couldn't tell you what the answer is for you. I don't know what the answer is for you. I just don't. I don't, you know? But I can offer you the best of what I know and what I did in my journey. That's why I made the book. That's why I wrote the book. This is a book. This is the book that I wish I had. This is the book that I wish I came across when I looked up how to quit smoking weed all those times. And this is the information I wish I got when I was looking up on YouTube how to overcome weed cravings. And if you want that book, uh, just what's it called? The link will be in the description. What I'm considering here is, how can I leave you with something powerful and impactful and useful, whether or not you get that book. Um, Assuming you're someone who's really in the thick of it, really in the thick of it, like you have no control over cravings. Like if you say you're not going to smoke that day and 10 minutes later you have the cravings and you can't say no, I guess the one thing I will say is I get it, first of all. And secondly, you're not a bad or weak person if cravings are too strong for you to overcome. You're not a bad or wrong person or a weak person if you smoke weed in a way that deep down hurts you. It might help you in the surface, but deep down you use it in a way that hurts you. And there is a way to overcome cravings and to be responsible and not have to quit. There's a way. I've done it. Okay? I've done it. But it really just depends on what you want. Because my whole thing was, how can I have my life back but not give up weed for the rest of my life? Because I like weed. Like, just because if for whatever reason I became fat and a big part of that was because I ate a pizza a day, doesn't mean that I can't have a pizza ever again. It's I'm apt to say that yes, food is addictive. Sugar's addictive. That's kind of a whole different story. But in the terms of pizza, like, yeah, food is good and it's addictive. But the people who get real big, like, oh my God, big, it's not because they're just addicted to food. No, hell no, hell no. In a similar way that for me, like, how could I let marijuana affect my life that bad? It's not. It's not because of weed. Like, that's for sure. That's for fucking sure. Like, it was something much deeper than that for me, at least. I don't mean to come off disrespectful or judgmental of anyone who really struggles with cravings, and this is my whole point. Um, you're not weak for saying yes to things that cause you short-term gratification and long-term pain. Not at all. Um, but yeah, if you really are in the pits and you really are committed to finding your solution, buy my book. Won't hurt you. Won't hurt you. I guarantee you'll learn things in that book, a whole paradigm on marijuana addiction and cravings and how to be free that is found in few places on the internet. Um, and there's only one place to get it in the way that has helped me no longer be a slave to weed. And that's by buying that book. Um, what are some things that I know people want that I thought I'd never have when I was in the pits of being addicted? That voice in your head that fucks with you all day over whether or not you should smoke weed. Yeah, that don't exist for me no more. That don't exist for me no more. No, no. Um, I mean, when you have a problem that you can't fix for years, and it's a problem that is fucking with your whole life, in this case, being addicted to weed, being enslaved to weed, um, you need to get that shit taken care of, boy. Because your life is at risk. And not just in a physical way. I mean, not really in a physical way, because weed won't kill you like that. But I mean, like, the quality of your life is at risk. If, for the next 90 years, you are dealing with cravings and loving weed and hating it and using it in a way that doesn't serve you. Fuck no. If you're someone who uses weed in a way that doesn't serve you and you're looking for a way to transform that into either using it in a way that serves you or not using it, which is the best form of using it for you, buy the book. Buy the book or ask questions down below. Um, I'm not saying that the book is the answer, but I am saying that the book has answers in it. um, it's not as hard as you think, but it's fucking hard when you first start, for sure. for sure. I can tell you now, it's like okay, if I could just be real with you, all that's missing really um is integrity. Sorry about that, guys. I was getting a protein bar. Like you are not able to do what you say you want to do when it comes to weed. Just accept that. Just fucking own up to that. Like no. Yeah. When you say I'm not gonna smoke today, you smoke still. And when you say you're only gonna smoke one bowl, you smoke five. Okay? I get it. I get it. But yeah. Alright, that's it for this video. 60 minutes long, way too long. Just do what you said you're gonna do. Like, oh man. I know it's hard. I know the creams are hard. But yeah, anyways, alright. Peace out, guys. Peace, 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 peace.